Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm not sure what time you'll be watching this video, but I just wanted to say hello. My name is Cynthia Wesley-Esquimaux. I'm the Next in Chair in Aboriginal Leadership at the Banff Centre and have been for the last 4 years. My time at the Banff Centre will be up in March. But I was invited to come out and have a conversation with the young people out there, but unfortunately I'm in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and I'm not able to get away. But I did want to send you a message of greeting, and I wanted to say that I'm absolutely behind all the work that you're doing and undertaking there, and very supportive of young people across Canada. I work with young people on a project called the Canadian Roots Exchange, and in that project we take young people out into First Nation communities across Canada. So when we're in BC, we take BC kids to BC communities, Alberta kids to Alberta communities, Ontario kids to Ontario communities. We've done 22 trips across Canada, and I can tell you that in every single community that we've been in, we have never been treated poorly. Everybody has been welcoming, has feasted us, has taken us out fishing. We've done dog sledding, we've done sweat lodges, we've done everything you can imagine. And the young people have had an opportunity to meet people in our communities that are doing absolutely fabulous work. We have PhDs, teachers, CEOs, executives, financial advisors. We have people in every industry that you can imagine, and they're all doing this work, coming out of communities like your own, and have been tremendously successful. So that's what we want from you today. We don't want you to talk about what's wrong. We know what's wrong in the communities. We know that there are problems there, but we also know that there's been tremendous success across Canada. We also know that young people are standing up and asking for their history, asking for their rights to be recognized, asking for their treaties to be honored, asking for their voices to be heard by those people in power in government and other places, but also by their own families and communities. You will have something to say, and we need to listen to you. So I think that you need to know that I'm absolutely supportive of all of the work that you're doing at this conference, and I know that you'll be back to do more work in other places. We've been ahead of you. I mean, a lot older than many of you in the room. We've been ahead of you. We've kicked out the jams in terms of education and some of the industries that we're working in. We want to clear the way for you to be there. And then we know that you're coming along behind and you're doing this work in your communities. And I want you to know that I'm behind you all the way, that there are people like me that have got the educations ahead of you. And I should let you know that I also dropped out of school when I was 16 years of age and didn't go back to finish my education until I was 23. And did that in California, graduated from Palm Springs High, and then went back to school after my kids were old enough and got my graduate degrees. So there's no need for you to feel pressure that everything has to happen all at the same time. It's perfectly legitimate for you to go to school, finish your high school. I mean, that's the most difficult thing any of you will do, but please do that, because once you have that under your belt, you've given yourself some options. And then go back to university when you feel ready. Go to university when you know why you're there and what you're going to do there. That's going to be the most important thing. And then go to graduate school. Make some connections in your undergraduate years and go to graduate school and get those doctorates and get those master's degrees. Right now, I can tell you, based on the 2006 statistics, we have probably got at least 1,500 PhDs across Canada today. We've got about 8,000 master's degrees in a variety of fields, and we've got about 30,000 graduates in a number of different industries that are now out there working, and you guys are going to be a part of that. We also know, though, that we have about almost 30,000 kids in care today. And foster care is not the place we want our children to be. We want our children to be at home with their families. We want them to be living and contributing to their communities. And so I'm going to ask you as a mom, because I have 4 daughters that I've raised. My youngest are now 28 this year, and they're educated and going to school as well. I'm going to ask you as a mom and as a woman who has earned a doctorate, even though I dropped out of high school at 16, to stay in school as long as you can. If you feel that you are going to be struggling there, reach out and ask for help, because there's people like myself that are there for you, that are going to help you stay in school and do the things that are important to you. And we want you to be able to participate in the world on your terms. We want you to have all of those things that are important to you recognized. Those relationships that need to be built with government, those relationships that need to be built with your community, those relationships that need to be rebuilt sometimes with your families. We're there to ensure that it happens. So you can call on people like me, and you can get in touch with me now. The Canadian Roots Exchange, that organization that I co-run with young people across Canada, is open to you. You can go online. It's Canadian Roots, Canadian, Canadian, and you know how to spell that, Roots with an S, okay, ROOTS.ca. And there's an area there where you can indicate your interest, and someone from our offices will get in touch with you. And if you would like to run an exchange in your province again, or have your communities involved with it, please let us know. We'll come out to Alberta and we'll set that up. I'm going to be in Alberta a lot through February and March. I'll be working with Karen Kuhn, who does Waterlution, another thing you should look up and and understand something about. She does work with water right across Canada, and certainly with Indigenous communities. And I'll be out there. So if any of you want to go to the Waterlution thing, go to her website now. I think it's waterlution.ca or waterlution.com. And there are sheets there that you can fill out if you have an interest in coming to the Waterlution event in March. It's at the beginning of March. I'll be in Edmonton from the 1st to, I think, the 3rd. And we'd love to meet you. We'd love to have you involved. We'd like to have you working on our side to prevent the lakes and waters of our beautiful country, and on our terms, as Indigenous peoples, not as somebody that's being told that we don't have any options. I know the Idle No More movement that's moving across the country and around the world has engaged a lot of Indigenous youth, and I'm absolutely delighted by that, and I think you should stay involved. I'm certainly staying involved. I'm certainly promoting it in the places that I go to. The Idle No More movement has a lot of utility for everybody across Canada. Please be involved. Please get your parents involved. Get your peers involved and your friends, and let's be a part of this worldwide event and celebrate who we are into the future, because we have we've contributed a lot to this country. We're going to continue to contribute a lot to this country. There's probably about, I would say anyway, 600,000 Indigenous youth 30 years of age and under in this country who are going to get educated and workforce development ready, and are going to be a part of this economy in ways that we've never been a part of the economy before, but we're going to help you make sure that you get there. So have fun at this event. Make sure you take every opportunity that comes to you. Travel as much as you can. Come and see me at Georgina Island. I'd be happy to have you there. But go to places in other parts of the world. Go and see what other people are doing. Go and support people in South America. Go to Peru. Go to Africa. Go and learn what other people are challenged by, and you'll have a really good understanding of how you can improve the lives of the communities and people that you live with here in Canada. Because you'll know that we're not in this alone. There's probably 350 million, maybe 360 million Indigenous people across Canada that are trying to lift themselves out of the same colonial spaces, out of the same poverty, out of the same marginalization, out of the same story that there's something fundamentally wrong with them, when there is absolutely nothing wrong with them. They've just been put into place by powers that be that have no real understanding or appreciation for what the Indigenous population has brought them. Let me say something about that. You need to understand that you're from a world base that has brought medicines, food. I tell people, there's a lot of people that would never have survived on this continent without us. Where do you think Thanksgiving came from? When I'm talking to people, I say, you're welcome. It was our people that fed those early people and ensured that they had food. That's a fabulous thing. You brought medicines. You brought the Three Sisters, corn, beans, and squash. You brought the names of a lot of the places. Certainly over here in Ontario. Ontario is an Aboriginal word. Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Canada. Canada, the country that we now call ourselves, is actually an Indigenous word, and it means like our village, our place. Toronto, Shining Waters. Each one of them has a name and a meaning. But we've given so much to this country. So much of the foundations of this country are based on our understandings. It's based on our our desire to move towards harmony. Canada was always a peacekeeper on the world stage because of the Indigenous influences that we brought. The Haudenosaunee Great Law of Peace actually informed the American Constitution, because it was so egalitarian and so inclusive and responsive to the people. So you have nothing to be ashamed of at all in this country. You have given much. Your ancestors have given much, and your ancestors are still walking with you. They're still there with us, and they will be with us. And we're still there. Those of us that are still here and have done a lot of work ahead of you, we're still here. We're going to help you. We're going to support you. We're going to make it possible for you to have the kind of life that you want to have. Whether you want to live on the land or you want to live in an urban center, you need to have a choice to be able to do that. And for those of you that have your language and have those cultural traditions, hallelujah for you, and thank goodness you're there, because there's a lot of young people that have been deprived of those things because of the colonial process. So thank you for listening to me. Have a great weekend. Enjoy everything you learn. Get out there in the world. Get your voice going. Speak up and be heard, and offer some good feelings and some good words for everybody. Peace and harmony all the way. And Idle No More. that's us. We're going to make this all happen over the next year, and let's make it a good one. So thanks a lot, and for giving me your time, and I hope one day I get to meet at least some of you in person. Take care.